Thank you, my friend. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask unanimous consent that this article with comments from Mr. Robb about the grid be submitted for the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to expand on the theme of this keeping the lights on to include grid reliability. Last Congress, as you well know, our committee held a number of hearings on the grid and reliability and resiliency. But it's not just the Energy and Commerce Committee that's concerned about the grid and its reliability. We had a report that was produced by the National Energy Technology Laboratory that said that without the use of coal, the eastern United States would have suffered widespread blackouts during the 2018 bomb cycle. Think about that. ISO New England said that in their report, said that the most significant challenge that they face is fuel security, and that coal and nuclear power plants are needed to maintain reliability. And lastly, Secretary Perry said in 2017 that the resiliency of the electric grid is threatened by the premature retirements of these fuel-secure traditional baseload sources. So, Mr. Robb, if I could turn to you. Last week, you made these remarks, these profound comments, I believe, regarding the grids in both Texas and New England, and specifically. Regarding Texas, you said, pardon my French here on this, you said there's no way in hell they can keep the lights on, and yet they do. Regarding New England, you said the grid operators constantly are finding ways to pull another rabbit out of the hat to keep the lights on. With any of us would look at that situation as engineers and say, it's got to break. So, Mr. Robb, should Congress be more concerned with this situation?
So I'm not sure I used exactly all the colorful language that was reported in the
It's
article,
in the press. Whatever's in the press, you know we believe it.
My vocabulary sometimes. I think the point around those, and I threw a third market in there, California. I think all three of these markets are demonstrating the challenges associated with the transformation that's going on within the electric grid. The issues in California revolve around the deployment of solar and the role of natural gas to balance those resources. Texas has kind of a contemporary problem of just the reserve margin, which is one of the planning statistics that we look at to assess whether or not there's enough resource to meet load. That's below levels that traditionally people would say are reliable. New England has a fuel security problem, as noted there. I don't know that these are congressional issues as much as they are market issues and state policies around resource development and deployment. And the point that I don't think got reported quite as clearly as I would have hoped is that what we're seeing in these areas are market operators innovating and finding ways to make the system work in ways that aren't consistent with traditional rules of thumb.
Thank you.
And I think the key here is for us to modernize our thinking.
Let me try to get a couple more questions in. If
Sure.
I could go to my fellow colleague fellow mountaineer from West Virginia, Ms. Evans, and also with Mr. Dodge. In your experiences, are fuel secure coal and nuclear plant baseload power plants critical to maintaining grid reliability? Both of you, please.
So there's been a lot of work done in this area, and what you really have to look on overall is what.
Really, it's a yes or no, isn't it?
So what you really
Let me
have
ask
to
the question again. Are fuel secure coal and nuclear baseload power plants critical to maintaining grid reliability?
I'd like to get back to you in writing with the answer to that question. If that's
Be what?
okay. I would like to get back to you with the answer to that question.
Okay. Ms. Evans?
I believe that the Secretary has, and the administration has expressed its commitment to multiple sources as it relates to the reliability, and our commitment as it goes forward, and our budget request also reflects our commitment to new sources such as nuclear. So if you need a more detailed answer, I'm happy to take that question for the record and get back to you as well.
Thank you, Rob. I yield back my time.